Hello and welcome, folks, all friends and devotees of yoga, and all those trying to learn the truth about Buddhism as a system of education, an educational system, and not a religion, because it is not a religion. All those trying to find out the truth about Buddhism, well, here is our discussion forum. So I'd like to continue the conversation regarding from our learned authority, Master Ching Kong. Those who may want to find out more about Master Ching Kong is a very great learned Chinese authority on Buddhism. He has studied Catholicism. He has a lot of Catholic priests and reverend sisters, in his foundation. He has studied Islam. He has a lot of Islamic imams and so on in his foundation. He's a very great Buddhist teacher here. Just like what I've done, I have studied Christianity, I've studied Islam, I've studied Hinduism and Buddhism, the four major world religions as well. Master Ching Kong did that. He studied Christianity, he studied Islam, he studied Hinduism and Buddhism. And then he started teaching people about Buddhism because he did a lot of research into Buddhism, particularly ancient Buddhism, as it was in China and India, where he made a lot of discoveries and findings, and he started teaching a lot of folks about the reality of Buddhism and what precisely Buddhism is and what Buddhism is not. So this is what brings us to this discussion forum. We're trying to enlighten folks, all of you, to understand that Buddhism is not a religion at all. It's like a university. A university is not a religion. A secondary school is not a religion. A high school is not a religion. A primary school is not a religion. Learning the ABCD is not a religion. Learning to count 1, 2, 3 is not a religion. These are just basic knowledge that everybody has to learn to become literate, to know how to read and write. It's not a religion. You learn your ABCs, you know how to read and write. That's what everybody has to do so that we can communicate, we can have a developed and advanced society. That's exactly what Buddhism is. Buddhism is not a religion. So Master Ching Kong had to do this great research. He had to go delve way into ancient China and India and bring us facts from the government, ancient governments of China and India, and what they really did to promote this educational system. They had Confucius also. Confucian schools were there and Buddhist schools. They were the major, actually the government of China combined both Confucian and Buddhist schools into a unified educational system, teaching all those folks the basic discipline we need to be able to proceed through life and solve the problems of life. So I'll continue. The goal of the Buddha's teaching. What is the goal of the Buddha's teaching? Buddhism is Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha Shakyamuni, again, as intelligent people you now understand, means Dr. Shakyamuni. Buddha Shakyamuni, or Dr. Shakyamuni's educational system. That's what Buddhism is. Buddhism is Buddha Shakyamuni's educational system, which is similar to that of Confucius. For both presented similar viewpoints and methods. The goal of Buddhist education is to attain wisdom, supreme wisdom. In Sanskrit, the language of ancient India, the Buddhist wisdom was called Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, supreme enlightenment, meaning the perfect ultimate wisdom. The Buddha was the main doctor or main professor, that's Gautama Siddhartha, taught us that the main objective of our practice or cultivation was to achieve this ultimate wisdom, Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, or supreme enlightenment. He further taught us that everyone has the potential to realize this higher state of ultimate wisdom, as it is an intrinsic part of our nature, not something one obtains externally. However, most of us have become confused through general misconceptions and therefore are not able to realize this potential that is just right within us. Therefore, if we break through this confusion, if we're able to penetrate and break through that confusion, we will realize this intrinsic part of our nature. Because it's with us, it's always with us. Enlightenment is it's natural to all of us. We all have wisdom, just that a lot of people don't pay attention to it and pay attention to how they may cultivate and develop and advance it. Thus, Buddhism is an educational system aimed at regaining our own intrinsic nature. It brings you right back to yourself, to understand yourself by studying and researching yourself deeply. You're able to come to this great understanding of your own self and therefore of everything in life and everybody else. It teaches us also absolute equality which stemmed from Buddha's recognition that all sentient beings possess this innate wisdom and nature. Therefore, there is no inherent difference among beings. Everyone is different now because we have lost our true nature and have become confused. The degree of wisdom exhibited by individuals depends on the degree of delusion and has nothing to do with the true nature of the individual. The Buddha's teaching helps us to realize that innate, perfect, ultimate wisdom. With wisdom, we can then solve all our problems and turn suffering into happiness. Due to our lack of wisdom, we perceive, view, and behave foolishly, and thus suffer the consequences evoked by our incorrect actions. If we have wisdom, our thoughts, viewpoints, and behavior will be correct. How then can we suffer when there are no ill consequences to suffer from? Of course, we will be happy. From here, we can see that suffering is caused by delusion. Delusion. And the source of happiness is our own realization of wisdom, perfect wisdom or enlightenment. Folks, contemplate, meditate on this. Those who have any concerns, I've already given you my contact. For those who may be joining new, who have not watched this particular video before, this is a discussion forum we're having on trying to present to our folks on precisely what Buddhism is. It's not a religion, it's an educational system. Those who may have any questions at all, you can send me an email on c.aburime@hotmail.com or Color College, color spelled British, COLOUR COLLEGE @hotmail.com. Thanks, folks, and I'll be right back.